getting this posted about a day late, but I had to go to work yesterday and left my position open and an exit order in place, which then filled. So anyhow, we're looking at this channel here, which I drew, and it looks like a bounce up. And I figured it was probably going to go up, almost to the top of the channel. So I was thinking pretty bullish. Everything looked like it was bullish. This was going up. The 1 hour chart is still looking like it's going up. Immediately, it's kind of at a peak right here. It's pretty high. The previous night, I had expected it to drop, but it dropped the entire way that I was expecting it to. And that was a lot faster than I had thought. So there was also the potential that because it didn't quite reach the bottom that I was expecting it to, that it would maybe drop again. But this is a pretty good leg up. So, all right, so zoomed in a little bit here, and we're just watching for a good time to get in. It had two candles that formed very quickly back to back here, and then it kind of jogged down. So I went ahead and got into a long here, which, like in hindsight, that's more of a long-term position. And again, I hadn't brought up my shorter-term charts over here. I only did the longer ones, so that's probably still affecting my thinking a little bit. But because it is so uptrending, it's not all bad. Excuse me. All right, so a dropped down, which, like I said, kind of in hindsight, is not terribly surprising there. Just got in a little too soon. All right, so it's finally turning, came back up pretty quickly, and went up there. I was thinking, okay, I'll get out at this point. That looks like a pretty good exit area. It's not too far up there. And then I went over to the 15-minute chart here, but it's looking like it hit the gold SMA here as well as the blue SMA up here, and there's a dotted pink line here, which if you go way back in history, it's not like a real good line. Well, this is a decent resistance line of peaks that have happened before, but not real good. So anyway, it's hit all those points at the same time, and it seems to be kind of hesitating. It doesn't really want to get above that point. So I'm not sure it's going to make it all the way up to that point, kind of watching it. This is looking a little bit promising, and here we go. It kind of broke through it. I went ahead and got out because it was just so slow getting up there, and the MACD is really high. So I'm not sure how far up it's really going to be able to get there. So it kept trickling up there, and could kind of see that because it was so slow going up, I could expect it to drop down, and I figured it would probably drop down to like this point right here. And it was tempting. See, that's 107, so that would be a really good trade. It was tempting to do a short at this point, but I thought, well, it's against the trend pretty bad, so that was probably not the best thing to do. So I did not. I resisted the urge. And it actually did end up going pretty much right to where I was hoping it would, which was interesting. So that was encouraging. It's always encouraging when you make a guess and then it comes true, especially to like the exact dollar amount or like one tick away. That's pretty fun. All right, still not opening bell yet. It's just really slow. Okay, so now it's broken through that resistance level and decided to do another long at this point. MACD is still really, really high, so that is a bit of a risk, but we've broken through a lot of different resistance levels up here. Okay, it's looking good. And I went ahead and put the exit order in to the next Fibonacci line up there, which again wasn't too terrible high. It was a little bit off the screen, so that's high, but it's not too terribly high. Dropped back down, which, nothing to worry about there. But then it dropped back down to there. It's like, oh man, now I've lost all my profits, and I've also lost pretty much what I made the first trade. So You know, it's not a huge loss, but gosh, that's a shame. And it, you know, it'll probably bounce at this point, but it is a little concerning that it actually dropped below that full SMA and the blue SMA and the pink line. So, and we're showing a red candle here on the 1 hour chart, which again is not, you know, there's one there and, you know, a couple there, and it's still going up, but a little bit concerning. Waiting for it to turn, which looks like it's working on it there. Did take another little bit of a jog down and then decided to go up. Okay. Looks like it's going to make a recovery. MACD is looking really, really good here. And it looks like the body of the candle actually stopped on that blue line. So I feel like that support did hold even though it dropped below it momentarily. It didn't stay there very long. So I'm very hopeful. And then it kind of did that number. It's like, oh, I'm not sure it's getting up there yet. Still haven't had a huge big loss, so just kind of waiting it out. That was a nice green candle there. It doesn't want to drop, so that's good. The support is holding. It's a little bit lower than I would have liked, but support is holding, so I'm hopeful. And also the MACD is very low, so I'm hopeful because of this nice big uptrend here that perhaps it'll continue up. It'll just take its time. And then it had a big drop right there, about 10 o'clock. I think there might have been a report, a minor kind of a report that came out at 10 o'clock that made it drop that quickly. But then it kind of recovered again. And then it dropped all the way to the blue line. And I should have gotten out maybe at that point, but that was kind of a painfully big loss. And I was still thinking that it would probably come up even at this point. Like, okay, so if you look over here, we've got, you know, a support there, we've got a support there. It's still uptrending, even though we have that that leg down there. It's still uptrending. You can see the blue line still going up. And at this point, I'm like I've lost $61. All right, so kind of walked away and did my stuff, had breakfast, and came back, and it had come above, and it almost went to where my exit order was. This is so frustrating. It was like 3 ticks away from that, and I was out of the room and I missed it. So if you look back here, 10, 11, I was away for almost 45 minutes, and you know, just one of those things I got to do sometimes. But if I had been here, I definitely would have gotten out at that point and I would have been done. And so, you know, at least I've gotten back my losses and I'm in a positive position here. So that was a really good thing. But yeah, it made me a little upset that I missed that. All right, so I went ahead and got out there. And the second trade I made only made like $1 or something like that. You know, when you take out the commissions, I actually kind of lost money on that trade. But I didn't know how far down it was going to go before it went up again because the MACD is pretty high. And looks like it may be dropping. So when it kind of showed that green candle, I thought, you know, I'm not sure that it is going to drop. It might get up there. And to make my goal, I only needed like $10 more. So I figured, well, the likelihood probably was pretty good that it was going to go up there again. And it did. And I got out there. $35. And I looked at my my log, and actually I was about $20 short of where I would have wanted to be to meet the average dollar amount. So because the commissions cost so much, it's about $5 for each trade. It's $4.50 actually, but it's easier to round it in my head. So if you take, you know, $15 out of that, that's why I needed to make a little bit more, because I'm aiming for like $27, $28, something like that. So decided I better do another trade, and since that last leg down here kind of gave me hope that it might be dropping, I went ahead and did a short here at the peak, and if it drops down to this point, I'll be fine. Looking good. and it went up. And at that point, I decided, no, I don't know that it's going to drop, so I better do a reverse. So I did a reverse here, which actually lost me some money, and now I need to make a little bit more. And I left for the day, and when I came back, this is right here. This is where we last saw, right here. Okay, right at this point right here was this point right here. And so then I left for the day to go to work, and it did continue to go up and sold that position right here. So I ended the day at my dollar amount that I was aiming for, and almost exactly, actually. Very happy with that. So there we go. And there's the trades that I made for the day. The last one I made $40. That's a huge trade for this, the MES that I'm trading. So it ended up that I made 45 altogether, and that would have been 2.6% of the 1,700 that I'm pretending that I have in my account. So very happy with that.